Apple's first foldable iPhone. Some people call it the iPhone Fold. Some say iPhone Ultra. Some even joke about it going full Transformer and calling it iPhone Optimus Prime. But the point is Apple is actually entering into the foldable sandbox. And if the leaks are right, we'll get into what's real versus the hype. Apple isn't copying Samsung. They're trying to do something Apple-y and take the form factor that's been around for a few years and make it feel like it belongs in the Apple universe. The most common name people use is the iPhone Fold, which the leaks tie it in to the iPhone 18 that's expected to release around this September. But you might see rumors calling it the Ultra. That could just be fan labeling before Apple settles on official branding. For now, most credible insiders call it the Fold, or just say Fold. It's the placeholder name. Whatever the final name ends up being, call it the Fold. Feel free to debate that in the comments. So it's not a flip phone and it isn't a tiny clamshell. This thing allegedly opens like a book, passport style, and that's a big deal. Instead of a tall skinny screen that gets wider, you get a balanced, almost tablet-like canvas when it's opened up. Think of your iPad mini but pocketable and polite. So rumors and multiple leaks are converging on two screen sizes. The outer cover display between 5.3 and 5.5 inches. Inner main display indicates 7.8 inches when it's unfolded. That inner size puts it right in competition with Samsung Galaxy Z Fold series. But unlike the tall feel of most foldables, this one leans toward a wider, more balanced aspect. Rumored to be roughly the 4:3 aspect ratio, closer to an iPad than an iPhone. And why that matters? Most apps on iPad already work well in the 4:3 aspect ratio, meaning Apple could finally have those folded screens that feel native and not stretched or awkward. One of the biggest criticisms of all foldable phones so far is that visible crease, man. Samsung has been working on this for years. Apple, meanwhile, is rumored to be going along with a liquid metal type of hinge and materials like titanium and aluminum to minimize or even nearly eliminate the crease. Think of it as Apple saying, if we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this without all of that crease you hate. That's the vision at least. And if the hinge tech actually works as leaked, it could make Samsung's efforts feel like they were folding wet spaghetti. So here's a part that's actually interesting and not mock-ups. Leaks right now are said to be engineering schematics and CAD files of the kinds of materials Apple provides to case manufacturers and partners when the product is deep into validation and tooling. And that's the kind of leak that means we're past the rumor stage and into the supply chain reality. I mean, literally nothing is official. Apple schedules its own announcements, but the level of detail that's leaking suggests this isn't just vaporware. Here's where Apple's advantage comes in. Unlike Android foldables, where many apps stretch or awkwardly scale, Apple has iPad OS. iOS already built around multiple form factors, multitasking, split screen, and real app scaling. So unlike early Android foldables that felt like two phones kind of glued together, this fold software could actually feel intentional. So Apple has been working on multitasking and windowing for years, and now it finally has a hardware reason to use it. And if you're still rocking with this video, like this video, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything iPhone Fold. See, the rumors are a bit quieter around this one, but it makes more sense. The inner screen is going to be big enough, and the iPad mini already uses Apple Pencil, so the software can already support stylus input. Would Apple let this support a fold-friendly Apple Pencil variant? I mean, it would rule out, especially if Apple wants this device to read and annotate and sketch and edit photos with finesse. And the official word is nothing confirmed, but the logic lines up. And Apple Pencil for this device could be a thing. So leak specs might not show at this point, but an A20 chip or A20 Pro, same generation as the next iPhone, the iPhone 18 Pro. 12 gigabytes of RAM in the same class as the other Pro models, 48 megapixel cameras front and back, rumored in dual lens setups in some reports. See, Apple clearly doesn't want this to feel like a foldable experiment. They want a performance flagship, period. Face ID is rumored to be a possibility, at least the primary unlock method, replaced by the side-mounted Touch ID that worked well, but makes a lot of sense once you think about it. A face sensor that's on a device device that's constantly changing angles, Touch ID is just more reliable in that context. It would be funny to see Apple bring back Touch ID on a foldable, almost like watching fashion go full circle. Most leaks about this device point to a September 2026 launch alongside the iPhone 18 Pro model. A staggered release could mean that the standard iPhone 18 shows up a little later in 2027, but the Fold packs enough premium to justify its own spotlight, and I think that'll be the case here. So this one isn't a rumor, this is just kind of the Apple math. Foldable tech plus premium materials plus the Apple tax. Reports consistently point to at least around $2,000 price point, likely closer to $2,400 or even higher at launch. And yes, that's serious money for a phone. But remember, Apple isn't selling a phone as much as an iPad meets iPhone pocket machine experience. So here's the difference between Apple's approach and everybody else's entry in this market space. Samsung said, here's a foldable phone. And Apple is saying, here's a pocketable tablet that also makes calls. It's reflected in the aspect ratios, the rumored software optimization, and the internal display size. It's the broader canvas first, then shrinking down, rather than starting small and trying to make it bigger. So my overall thoughts, real or hype, everything we're seeing right now lines up with the leaks. Multiple supply chain analysts, rumored CAD files being shared with accessory makers, consistent sizing and specs across sources, which mean that this device, whatever Apple names it, feels like a true Apple foldable instead of just a reactionary Samsung chase. See, if Apple nails the invisible crease in the hinge and the software scaling, this wouldn't just be another foldable device. This will be a straight up punctuation mark in how Apple thinks about mobile devices moving forward. If you want to see some deeper dives on leaks and CAD breakdowns or software expectations for iOS on foldables, drop a comment and make sure to subscribe if you already haven't. I'm Tyson with True Tech. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.